Hi, my name's Jonathan. We're here at Yoga More, and today we are bringing you a 50-minute power yoga flow inspired by the warrior spirit. Now, I'm not a warrior myself necessarily, but I have been trained in Korean martial arts. I have a black belt in Taekwondo, which is why I fell so easily into yoga, I think. I love practicing here at Yoga More, and it's been a privilege to actually been able to use some of my artistic talents. I've been able to showcase my chalk art here on the garage door over the past few years. And I was reading a lot of warrior-inspired literature at the time, and I used some of those same sources and drew on them today for this warrior spirit vinyasa. So let's go get right into it. Come to the top of the mat. Feet are together. The hands come to the heart. Now we're going to start off by making a sword mudra today, interlacing the fingers. The index fingers will still point forward together. The thumbs cross. Okay? And the heart center is where you find your mudra here. It's connecting to the breath. Inhale, exhale. Every warrior has a weapon, and here in yoga, our weapon, our tool of choice is the breath. We use the breath to prepare the body, to move, to stretch. We move the breath to calm the mind. Perhaps we want to stay focused. Or maybe we need to relax. The breath can do so many things for us. Inhaling deeply, and on an exhale, lift your sword, extend the arms over the head, gaze comes to the sky. Inhale, return your sword to heart center. Exhale, the sword comes forward, extending the sword straight out in front of you. Inhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, sword returns to the sky. Inhale to heart center. Flowing, matching movement and breath. Using the breath to build a heat here. Preparing our bodies to move. Just like as when a warrior sees a battle on the horizon, he prepares himself. And when the heart and hands meet, take one moment here to just recenter and pause. Maybe closing the eyes for a second, going inward, checking in with the state of the body, the state of the mind. And we begin our flow. The hands drop by the hips and then right away raise as you reach towards the sky. Then exhale, forward fold, keep the back straight, and then bend over, straight legs, forward fold. Inhale, reach the crown forward. Exhale, plant the hands and jump back into a plank pose. Take one full breath here, and then push your way back to downward facing dog. Let's bend the knees at first, so we can allow the spine to extend. See if you can't hover the knees just an inch over the mat. Then extend the legs fully. Inhale, the right heel up to the sky. Exhale, draw the knee into the right elbow. Taking a breath here as you hover, drawing the heel into the glute. Then lower the heel to the wrist. Hover just over the mat. Inhale, back up to the wrist. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back up to the wrist. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Plant the foot in between the hands. Lower the back heel. The hands come together. Find your sword mudra. Reach forward as far as you can. Inhale. Rise up to warrior one. Let's make a firm foundation in our warrior one. Reaching into the back edge of the left foot. Becoming solid in all four corners of the right foot. Maybe the hips drop closer to the mat. Keep the hands reaching skyward. Inhale and exhale evenly. Try practicing a 4-count breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3. Take a big inhale. And then drop the sword to the third eye, tapping the thumbs at the space between the eyebrows. The hands continue to fall as we exhale in front of the heart space. Exhaling the hands forward now. Sword reaching forward as the torso falls. Sword taps the mat with the floor in front of the mat. Reaching as far as you can. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, sword to the third eye. Dropping to the heart. One continuous exhale as the sword reaches forward. Taps in front of the mat. Inhale. Warrior one. One more time. Hands fall to the third eye, to the heart. Reaching the sword forward. Tapping the mat. Inhale. Rise. On an exhale, the hands come to the mat. Back heel rises. Right foot meets the left in plank pose. Push back into downward facing dog. We're doing a lot of warriors, but this is downward facing dog here. Breathing evenly. Connecting to that smooth breath. Our Navy SEALs in this country are taught when they're in the midst of the battle, in the heat of the moment, return to the 4-count. Inhale, exhale, to stay present and focused and calm. Inhale the left heel up to the high, up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Draw the knee into the elbow. Coming forward into plank. That left heel is reaching up into the glute. Knee lowers to the wrist. Inhale, up to the elbow. Exhale, lower and hover. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Back up to the elbow. Plant the foot. Dropping the back heel. Setting up the foundation of warrior one. Reaching your sword mudra forward as far as you can go. Inhaling. Sword reaches towards the sky. Gaze follows. Keep that core engaged. Coming to a place where you can breathe evenly. Staying calm in the midst of the storm. And then take a big inhale. Drop the sword to the third eye. To the heart. Exhaling forward, we reach with the sword, tapping the floor. Inhale. Warrior one. 2 more times. Exhale. All the way to the floor. Inhale. Warrior one. Drop the hands to the mat on an exhale. Pick up that front foot, finding plank. Pushing back into downward facing dog. Breathe. Coming to the knees. Finding child's pose. And inhale. Wave the spine up. Come to thunderbolt. Finding the sword mudra, hands at the heart. Inhale big. Exhale. Sword high. Inhale through the heart. Exhale. Sword out front. Returning to center on an exhale, rolling forward, planting the hands, coming through table, finding plank, downward facing dog. Right heel rises. On an inhale, exhale. Draw the knee in tight to the body, then reach towards the right elbow. Now reach towards the left elbow, crossing the body, elbow to the wrist. Inhale up. Exhale, hover over the mat. Inhale up. One more time. Inhale up and plant the front foot. Drop the back heel. Setting up for warrior one, finding your sword. Inhale. And then exhale. Come to warrior two. So the sword becomes knives here. And the hands point in opposite directions. Pinkies reaching back, opening the heart space. Sinking lower in your warrior stance. Keeping the core engaged. And find a little bit of focus. Now in yoga, we use a dristi to find focus. And a dristi just means focus point or gazing point. So you can gaze at the tip of your fingers, or maybe find an immovable spot to gaze at. And then just using the steady gaze with the steady breath to bring life back into focus. Maybe a victorious smile comes to the lips, breathing through the nose. Now make a fist with the right hand. Grab your archer's bow. Reach forward with the left. Grab your bowstring and pull back. So we're pulling back on this imaginary bowstring, but I want you to engage your arms. We're using isometric engagement here to build strength in the arms. Imagine, I don't know, whatever size or strength or color shape bow you want, but it's a hard one to pull back. Maybe it's 50 pounds or 75, 100 pounds of pressure. So whatever it takes, maybe you generate a little arm shake and then release your bow. Warrior two. Two more times. Grab your bowstring. Draw it back. Inhale. And exhale to find some focus and steadiness. Release. One more time. Grab your bow. Draw it back. Release your arrow. Nice. Straighten the front leg. Come to a reverse triangle. Stretching your knives back behind you. Gazing under the right armpit. Bend the knee. Hands find the mat. Right leg steps back. Come into plank pose. Push back into warrior two. Downward facing dog. We're going to see how many times I can do that today. Raise the left heel. Draw it into the chest. Find the knee. Then left knee to right elbow, crossing the body, using the strength of the obliques. Lower the leg, hover over the mat. Inhale up. Exhale down. Engage the core, draw the belly in, and then step the left foot between the hands, setting up warrior foundation. Reaching your sword forward. Warrior one. Draw the shoulder blades back, biceps coming by the ears. Warrior two. Taking your knives out on either side. See if you can really close your hands so that all the fingers and the thumbs have no gaps in between them at all. Making another mudra or just hand exercise, Finding different ways to challenge yourself in movement. Looking for areas that need to be shored up and strengthened. Coming deep into your warrior two. Connecting to your drishti, your focus. The right arm reaches forward as the left hand grabs your bow. Archer pose. Building strength. Maybe visualize a bow here. It could be any kind of bow, maybe a Cupid's bow with a heart on it, or a suction cup bow, or whatever it is. Visualize the tension, the strength needed to hold this weapon, becoming ready for battle, poised on the moment of action. Release the arrow. Oh, that feels so good. Keep those triceps engaged. Reach forward, grab your bow string, draw it back. 2 more times. Last one. Release. Warrior two. Straighten the leg. Reverse. Finding compression in the right side body. Openness in the left side body. Cartwheeling the hands down. Bending the left leg. Finding plank pose. Pushing back to downward facing dog. I got it right this time. All right. After a centering breath or two, lower the knees. The knees can be together or they can be wide. Finding a thunderbolt set up with the hips sitting on the heels. Sword mudra resting in the heart. You can close the eyes and go inward or just softly keep the eyes open, becoming sleepy in your gaze. Inhale big. Exhale the sword to the sky. Sword reaches out front. Inhale, return to the heart. On an exhale, rolling forward, planting the hands. Coming to the tops of the toes as we find downward facing dog. Raise the right heel. Three-legged dog. Become heavy in that left foot. Draw the right knee to the right elbow. Forward and plank. Keep that heel tucked. Find the left elbow. Hold. Now kick the right foot off the side of the mat. Drop the left heel. Find fallen triangle. Lifting the hips up high. Shining the heart up towards the sky. Left hand comes back to the mat. Keep that right leg extended here for just another second. Stretching out the iliotibial band on the side of the leg. Maybe dropping the hips a little bit to accentuate that stretch. Inhale, raise the leg, and then plant the foot between the hands. Drop the heel, set up your warrior foundation. Sword reaches forward, warrior one. Inhale, breathing in strength and wisdom. Exhale, warrior two. Staying engaged and present. Reverse, straighten the front leg. Now bend the right leg. The shoulders and chest face the front of the mat as we clasp our hands behind the back, or you can just grab opposite elbows or just the wrists. Find any way to open up that heart space with the arms reaching behind. Inhale, gentle back bend. Exhale, humble warrior. So in humble warrior, the heart is falling to that space about a foot outside of the right foot here. Maybe the right shoulder comes in contact with the right knee. Head can become heavy. Reaching the arms up and over so the pinkies are following a path over the head, down towards the front of the mat. Embodying the shape of a humble warrior. Warriors truly need humility. Putting the life and safety and happiness of others before their own. Being a true servant to mankind. Inhale, warrior one. Just the hands back to the sky. Exhale, come to plank pose. Right foot steps back. Now from here in plank pose, let's lower to the ground. Gaze comes to the right. Left ear hovers to the ground. Now we're not setting any weight here. We're just building strength in the arms by hovering here in low chaturanga, like maybe a Native American warrior would have done. Here the approach the neighboring tribe. Extending presence out as far as we can, not only being present in our own bodies, but as far as we can outside into the outside world. Pushing up, back to plank, downward facing dog. Raise the left heel, draw the knee to the elbow, crossing the body, left knee to right elbow, and then planting the left foot outside the mat, dropping the right heel, fallen triangle. Really see if you can engage the blades of the feet into the earth. Raising the hips. Right arm plants. And then finding the stretch in the outside of the left leg. On an inhale, lift the hips, lift the leg, and then plant in between the hands, setting up for warrior one. Inhaling, the sword comes high. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse, leaning back, and then setting up the humble arms behind the back, lifting the heart, inhaling, and exhaling, prostrating, bowing forward. Connecting to the 4-count breath. In, 2, 3. Out. In breath. Out breath. Reaching those pinkies over the head. And release. Warrior one quickly. Inhaling high. Exhale. Flowing. Planting the hands. Coming to plank. And then lowering chaturanga arms, right ear to the floor, hover. Keep that belly in. See if you can keep the belly off the mat. Really dig into the mat with the fingertips. Reach the heels back. Very good. And push up. Getting so strong in the arms and the shoulders. Downward facing dog. Drop the knees. Child's pose. Inhale. Coming to thunderbolt. Sitting on the heels. Sword mudra comes to the heart. Inhale deeply. Warrior breath. Sword reaches out front. Exhale the sword high one more time. And then wave the spine over your legs, reaching far forward as you can. Lowering down to the mat slowly. Forehead reaches into the mat last. Exhale. Taking a few centering breaths. Offering your weapon forward. A warrior's weapon truly isn't their own. It belongs ultimately to the people they serve. Inhale, rise, plant the hands, come through table, lift the knees, push back, downward facing dog. One last wave. Inhale, lift the heel. Exhale, just step it on through this time. Plant the leg. Warrior one. Sword rising high to the sky. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Reverse. Exhale. Bend the front leg again. Bind the hands, square the chest and shoulders as we fall into humble warrior. Take a full breath cycle here. Now lift up off the back heel, and then maybe you take a step or two, or maybe you just bounce right into warrior three. So the heel is lifted, trying to make a T shape with the torso and that left leg. Keeping a micro bend in the right leg here. Reaching into the mat. All four corners of that right foot. If your hands are still bound, release them and make a T shape, becoming wide in your warrior three. Find a drishti, a place of focus. Whew. If you stumble, that's fine. That means you're just playing with the edge of your posture here. Stimulating places of balance that need to be refined. Watching beneath you, taking in the view of your drishti and everything at the same time. Exhale, the hands come to the mat. Oh, that was nice. Good job. Lift the heel. Now bend the left leg so that the left knee comes to the outside of the right leg. We're going to sit down right into a sage twist. So if you didn't get all that, my left heel is now by my right hip, and the right ankle is on the outside of my left knee. I'm going to hug the knee, find a twist here. Maybe reaching my knife hands out either side, using the leverage of the left arm to the outside of the leg to twist even more. And return to center. Hug the knee real quick. And then roll forward, plant the hands, and pop back into a plank pose. Or just take any path to come back onto plank. Then raise the hips. Find downward facing dog. Take a centering breath between sides. Raise that left heel high. Last three-legged dog here of the day. Knee to elbow. And then plant the foot between the hands. Set up your warrior stance. Reaching the sword forward. Rising with a victorious smile. Breathing through the nose. Inhale deeply. Biceps by the ears. Exhale, warrior two. Reverse. Humble warrior. Clasping the hands, maybe interlacing the fingers in the opposite direction this time. Exhale, waving the spine forward. Drawing that stomach in, creating more room for the torso to fall like a waterfall closer to the earth. Then raise the back heel. Find a drishti point. Set yourself up. Maybe if you want your blocks in front of you, that's fine. Either way, come to warrior three. Find whatever version of the arm speaks to you. Maybe you become wide with the arms, making a T shape, becoming as big as a shield, covering as much of the earth in a protective way as you can. As a warrior watches and protects over those he has sworn to keep. And when you're done here, half split, hands come to the ground, raise the heel higher, 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 and the knee comes to the outside of the left shin, slides down to the outside of the ankle, sage twist to the left, becoming tall in the spine first, hugging the left knee, and using your breath as your weapon to bring your body and your heart, your mind into stillness. Maybe making your knife hand mudra to twist a little more. Return to center. Plant the hands. Roll forward and pop back into plank. Once you've made it back here to plank, you find downward dog one more time. Making our way to child's pose. Setting up for our warrior breath one more time. Sword mudra at the heart. Really press the sternum into the thumbs. See if you can make a little circle or a tiny infinity in this heart space, massaging the area between the pecs. Oh, that feels so good. Taking a big in-breath. Raise your sword. Inhale to the heart. Mudra goes forward. Exhale everything out. Inhale back to the heart. Now wave the spine forward here again, coming into a child's pose variation. Let's plant the elbows in front of us though this time. Bring the sword behind the head as the forehead rests into the mat. Becoming heavier with every exhale. Inhale, rise up, returning to Thunderbolt. Coming to hero's pose with our heels spread a little so that the hips can sink between them. Raising the spine, raising the heart. Closing the eyes and just breathing into stillness here. Raising the hips, cross the ankles, roll over the shins, find your seat. When you come to the seat, legs can come out long in front of you. Hands by the hips, reach the heart high. Staff pose. Trying to straighten the spine as if you were sitting in front of a straight staff or a wall. Now from here, bend the legs, plant the feet. You're going to take the right hand, reach under the right leg, grabbing the left foot, drawing it by the heel, just like we did for sage twist, except this time we're going to draw the right heel back closer to the hip. So we're reaching now towards the knees being stacked, coming into a cow face pose setup. Now you can stay here if you like. This is a great stretch for the hips. Or you can get the arms involved by making either humble arms behind the back, or perhaps you go for the traditional cow face pose bind by reaching the left arm behind the head, reaching down towards that right arm, which is reaching up and behind the back. For me, I like humble arms here. Wherever you are with your arms, just slowly start to fold forward. And maybe you just rest the torso on the right thigh. Perhaps even you bring the third eye to the knee. Again, stimulating that place of wisdom. So important for the warrior not only to train their body, but to train their wisdom, their intuition. Inhale, rise, release whatever bind you have with the arms, straighten the legs out in front, give them a little shake, and we're going to do it again, threading that left arm now under a bent left leg, drawing the right heel by the left hip, coming through the sage variation, and stacking the knees. Gomukhasana. Taking a moment here to just connect with the hips and the legs. Then you can involve the arms, whatever fashion you like. If you're going for the hand bind, you can use the shirt if you're not quite there, or find a strap, or somehow get the hands a little closer. I find that finding an arm bind that allows me to hold it a little more steady, allows me to forward fold in a little more focused, more present way. Just a different expression of Gomukhasana. Checking in with the breath, that guide, the constant companion, your ally. Taking a few more juicy moments here. This pose opens so many joints. Inhale, rise. Legs come out long in front. And let's lower on down to our backs. Hug the knees into the chest. We're just going to do a couple rollers here. Nice massage for the back. And they can be as small or as big as you'd like to make them, but just start off easy here. Rolling up and down the length of the spine. Maybe you come all the way up to the seat and all the way up to the shoulders. Being careful to keep the weight out of the neck and head. Perhaps you fall a little to the right on your next few rolls, massaging the right side of the back body. Then maybe shift your balance to the left, kind of a crooked rock here. Massaging parts of the back we don't often get to. The legs can straighten, going towards a little bit of plow pose, a little bit of forward fold, rocking back and forth here. And then on your next time up and forward fold, reach the hands forward, grab something, the shins, the calves, the ankles, the feet, and then just relax into a forward fold here. Keeping the legs reaching into the ground. Keep pulling in that belly button. Becoming hollow in the core to create more space for the spine to lengthen. Inhale, rise, and slowly lower back onto the back. You can lift the legs and find legs up the wall. Now, let the legs become real heavy here. You can even bend them a little if you want first. The lower back heaving into the mat, becoming wide in the way that you contact the mat. Then maybe you play with straightening the legs. Now, if you have to back out away from 90 degrees to get a really straight leg, go ahead and do that. Just come to a place that's comfortable for you where you can have a straight leg and you're engaging the core. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. Of course, if you start feeling any sharp pain or you're just failing and the muscles are spazzing out, you can give yourself a little support by reaching behind the hamstrings. And then maybe you let go again. Or maybe you keep the hands there. Just find your edge and then see if you can just tiny bit by tiny bit push yourself past what you think you can endure. Now open the legs and find a little bit of a straddle shape here. It doesn't have to be very wide. You can even keep the hands on the thighs still. Letting gravity do most of the work. Feeling the feet slowly inching their way closer to the earth. As we breathe, space into the hips. Releasing all the tightness that's built up the outside of the hips and the inside of the groins. I'm going to try something fun here. Bend the left leg. Point the left foot off to the left side of the mat. Right leg stays straight. Bending the right foot at a 45 degrees. Making a warrior shape with our legs. Now, I don't know about you, but I honestly find doing this a little harder than actually standing in warrior. I don't know why, but really using the core muscles and psoas muscles in a different way. Pretending that I'm actually standing on the ceiling above me, as if I was holding that ceiling up. As if I was the one keeping the building intact, keeping all the people safe inside. And then keep this warrior shape with the legs and lower the legs on down to the mat. They'll probably be off the mat on either side. But keep that shape. The arms come to a T. The gaze goes to the left. I call this sleeping warrior. Now for me, I find my left knee, it doesn't want to sink all the way down to the ground. That's okay. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to breathe and relax as if I was truly asleep. Let gravity do its work. Really engaging only the muscles I absolutely have to keep this shape of the legs. Maybe here you try doubling the exhales. Maybe breathing in for a 4 count. 2, 3, 4. Then out for 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 2, 3, 4. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Practice a few more rounds on your own. Doubling those exhales. Signaling the somatic response of the body. The double exhale is more similar to the way we breathe when we sleep. So we're telling the body it's time to relax. It's time to find ease. Draw the knees into the chest. Maybe you wiggle the hips. Raise the forehead to the knees. And then come back into legs up the wall. Again, with bent legs, we find the lumbar spine becoming flat on the mat. Then extending the heels up. Toes reaching towards the face. Then really engage the core. Become engaged in the pelvic floor. Drawing energy in. Energy that draws the belly button in. Then up towards the heart. Staying here, lifted, or finding support with the hands. Eventually, we'll come to wide-legged. Maybe you find a little shake here, a little quiver. That's fine. That's just the body unraveling new, uncharted territories, waking up muscles. All right, bend that right leg, point the right foot to the right, 45 degrees in the left foot. Warrior shape on this side. Noticing any difference you may feel. I can definitely feel my left hip telling me about this. But I just breathe into that space, using the tool of the breath. When you're ready, on an exhale, you can slowly lower your warrior stance. Sleeping warrior. One more opportunity to draw the knees into the chest and up towards the forehead. Kind of become a tiny little ball.
Squeeze everything, engage every muscle. Tight, tight, tight.
And then release everything. Legs go out long, hands fall by the hips. Let's set up for our Shavasana. Corpse pose. One of the reasons we enjoy so much security and safety, at least where I live, is because in our community there are warriors who are ready to at any moment lay down their life, if they had to protect mine, to protect my family. For that, we can be very grateful. Grateful that there are people who are ready to die. And here in Corpse Pose, we can practice a little bit of death, coming into stillness, releasing control of the breath, and just becoming the observer of our breath moving in and out. Observe your body's response to your yoga practice. Deny yourself the urge to take control of the breath, to move the body, to twitch, to cough, to sneeze. Move exactly as much as a corpse would. Become slack in the jaw. Let the tongue go where it wants to. Find more places to let go. I encourage you all to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you can. Find some rest, rejuvenation, preparing yourself for whatever battles you may face today. Knowing that you are strong enough, you do have enough of that warrior spirit to face any battle calmly, bravely, focused and present. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for joining me today. Namaste.